Good morning. What a great group it is to see here. When I was 2 or 3 years old, I was diagnosed with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. My parents were told I was going to die by the time I was 6. When I was 28, in 1980, if you're counting, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Dying never crossed my mind. On February 22nd, 2013, again, I was 60, I was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. The last, by far, the scariest. Visions of Patrick Swayze and Michael Landon were in my head. The thought that went through my mind the most was, I am going to die. We have a very small number of people here today who have heard those words, you have pancreatic cancer, and survived. Unfortunately, there's a disproportionate number of people here who have loved ones who did not. When you hear those words, you truly do not know how you're going to react. The main thing I remember thinking throughout that first day is, I want yesterday back. I want to feel normal just for a few minutes, and I don't want to think about dying. Now, I want to say one thing to all the doctors out there. Please don't ever schedule a biopsy for a potential catastrophic disease on a Friday when there was no professionals to talk to discuss my future, what lies ahead, until the following Monday. It makes for a very long weekend, not only for me, but my family. Days of agony, depression, sadness, that in my case were not necessary. The hardest part was when my son called Friday night about 9:30 and said my grandsons, age 7 and 9 at the time, wanted to see me. He asked if it would be okay if they stopped by. I think they just wanted to make sure I was still the same. On Saturday, I went to watch the 9-year-old in a basketball tournament. It was my normal thing to do, and it helped me keep my mind on something else. It worked for a while, but the darkness kept creeping in. Sunday, my husband and I spent the day at home, each of us trying to act like it was a regular Sunday, just a little quieter. Finally, on Monday afternoon, we went to see the surgeon, Dr. John Matthias. After he looked at my CT scan and the biopsy results, he walked in the room and he says, I think you have a 95% chance of beating this. To me, that was a 150% chance of beating it. It meant I was going to live. My words were, let's get this party started. What do we need to do? There was a joint decision for treatment, chemo and radiation first, surgery second. Having been involved in the breast cancer world for so long, it's a treatment regimen which I was familiar. It was developed at MD Anderson Cancer Hospital for one of the most deadliest forms of breast cancer. Dr. Matthias sent me to the oncologist, Dr. Corliss, to discuss treatment and how aggressive we wanted to be. And so I began 3 rounds of chemo, 5 weeks of daily radiation. Yes, there were a couple trips to the ER, which turned out to be nothing major. For the most part, I can't complain about any of the treatment compared to what many go through. Unlike many, I gained 7 pounds, which it did not make me happy. Yeah, it's not a good thing. My last radiation treatment was June 28th. On June 29th, while watching my grandson play baseball, I received a call from my sister. My 94-year-old mother had died. She lived in California and did not know the battle I was fighting, but truly I believe she was there to get me through the worst and is still watching over me now. This is officially my first purple stripe. Last year's event was 2 days after my Whipple surgery. My husband and team Skyped with me while I was in the hospital, while they walked. It's over a year now since my surgery, and so far so good. I'm feeling good and doing well. All things considered, I have no complaints. I even lost all that weight I gained plus some. Whipple is a wonderful diet, really. I don't recommend it, but yes. My speech is supposed to be over now, but I need to say something more. I believe I am here for a reason. I survived breast cancer for a reason. I am surviving pancreatic cancer for a reason, to bring awareness. We all have the responsibility. If you are a survivor, you have a responsibility to yourself, your family, and your friends, and to those who are no longer here. You need to make people aware of the fight, of the injustice, and of the indifference towards this disease. Breast cancer gets the awareness because they have the most voices. They now have a 98.5% survival rate beyond 5 years. We now have to be those voices. Breast cancer started the same way. It's our turn. You need to speak on behalf of your loved ones and friends if they have passed. If you're a survivor, you truly have to speak. How many pink shirts do you see out there spreading the word? The more who speak, the more people have to listen. We don't have Chris Spielman, but we have each other. So let's get the word out. Let's get the funding. Let people know we need money, we need research, we need to live. Let's make purple the new pink. Thank you.
Cathy, thank you. And you are a voice. Thank you. Thank you for lending it to the cause. Community, that is what Purple Stride is all about. How many of you have our connecting ribbons?